Hey, what is up, guys? What time is it? States at 1 Central Time, 12, 11, 10, about 10 o'clock at night? Okay, so as I said, as promised, I'm coming to you with my Hagwon story. This is not how I wanted to do it. I was going to record the Hagwon story, blah, 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 but your girl, I broke my phone. So I'm back to using this lovely Galaxy S4 that I got. Actually, you know what's funny about this? I'm about to tell this Hogwarts story, but this is the phone I had at that time. That's crazy. Ooh, Lord, this phone, actually, I got this phone in 2014 and I got it repaired at a used phone store. But Galaxy, like S4, yeah, S4. Dang, I broke my phone, my Note 8. But don't worry, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it because I can do things. So I just got to get the parts. But anyways, so I can't really say names because we're not allowed to in Korea. I put that in the description because we can't, because due to defamation laws, which are like super serious in Korea, we can't say names of companies, whatnot, or names of, people we worked with. So I'm going to just say, other things that are not their real names and stuff like that. So yeah, in my other live, I talked about when I first came back with my daughter and what happened, like when they were supposed to pick me up. So I'm going to just start from the beginning. So I'm going to start from the beginning of that. So you can see, wow. Applied. Actually, this school, I'll tell you the city. It's in Jeonju. That's where I had worked, and that is down south. If you ride the train, I think it's about 3.5 hours from Seoul on the train, and that's the fast train. So about 3.5 hours. If you take a bus, like 5 hours from Seoul. So it's a pretty good distance away. It's a nice town. It's a college town. It was actually really a lot of fun there. A lot of fun there. Just this experience was not a lot of fun to have. I applied to the school. Actually, my recruiter, they set me up with an interview with them. And actually, the guy interviewing me, I got to talk about recruiters because that homie. Mm-mm. Yeah. So, anyways, he interviewed me. He was like, "Okay, I got you this interview with the school." I talked with them, and this was like January because I had a contract with the school in Incheon, but then they sent back my paperwork to that recruiter and was like, "Oh, we decided to go with someone here." So then I was like, "Oh, great! Now I'm not leaving right away. Let me try to hurry up and get another job." So I did an interview with them in January. At the end of January, when that happened. And the lady, she was like, "Oh, I really like your personality. You seem like you'd be a good fit. I'm just not sure because you have a kid." So I would talk to the director, blah, blah, blah. Never heard back from her again. So then come May, like right around my birthday. My birthday's May 10th. So right around my birthday, I have another interview. And so I had an interview. But then I got a message from the recruiter. It was like, "Oh, hey, a school you interviewed with wants to go ahead and hire you. They're going to video call you again." And so I was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." So I video called again. And I was like, "Why does this person look so familiar? Why do they look familiar to me?" And so I talked with them, and I didn't realize this was the same person I talked with in January, who did not hire me at that time. I didn't realize that. Yeah. So this school, turns out they ended up going with this other teacher at the time. And because of problems with that teacher they hired instead of me, they hired me in May to take their place. So mind you, this person hasn't been at that school very long. And I'm going to call them T. T was not at that school very long. So you get hired, and we start working. Usually your job, you start working like the 25th of February because we get paid the 25th. If a Hagwon, you usually get paid 10th or 15th. So I believe she started right at the end of February, maybe March 1st, maybe, not sure. Because usually they do like a couple training days. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure she started at the end of February, and T was only there until I came. And I came June 15th or something like that. So I get there, And I go, airport, and there, I thought someone was going to meet me at the airport. That was what I was originally told. Someone would meet me at the airport and take me to where I'm going. That did not happen. So that is the first thing, okay, that's weird. You tell me someone's gonna meet me at the airport for this job, and yet no one's here, and I have a baby and all these bags. So I'm just like, okay, let me just get to where I'm going so I can get to our apartment, get to my apartment and things will be straight, get some real rest because, it's exhausting traveling, especially with all them bags and a baby. So we find the bus, get there. I'm messaging the recruiter, and they gave me the number for the supervisor because, like, okay, when you get here, we're going to pick you up and take you to your place. Okay, cool. They said, take me to my place. So that is what I'm expecting. So we go. I go. We finally get to Jeonju, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, dang, that was a long bus ride from the airport. So I have to go to the bathroom. I'm like running, like, where's the bathroom? Bathroom. And I was like, what's the word again? Wajangshio. Okay, where's that? Wajangshio. I gotta go there. So some old guy like showed me where the bathroom was. And some old guy was sitting there with me at the little bus stop. And they're like, this place is closed. I was like, obviously, there's nobody out here except this little old man wandering around being creepy. So yeah, so I go, and I'm messaging the supervisor. I'm like, hello, I'm at the bus station. When will you be here to pick us up? No response. So it took until I think like an hour before I was blowing up the phone. I was calling, and they called and they were like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Someone else was supposed to pick you up. They'll be there in a second. So it ended up being, I feel like I'm getting this wrong though. It ended up being the director's wife, who I later found out is actually the owner. They try to trick you with that. She's actually the owner of that place. So she comes and picks me up, and she's like, she didn't really speak English. I'm pretty sure that's who picked me up, was the director's wife. And so she takes me and my daughter and everything. We go to their house, and I'm like, why am I going to their house when they said they're taking me to my apartment? She was like, oh, don't worry, your house tomorrow. And I was like, okay. So it was fine. They showed me a shower and everything and put me in like their daughter's room. And we just slept there. I think we actually slept on the floor, if I remember correctly. I remember it being too hot, like so hot in there. And I was just like, they're trying to kill me. So, okay, the next day comes, get there. They're just like, okay, time to start working. Who's watching your daughter? And I'm like, what? I was like, I thought this was like training. I was like, I thought I was going to have a little bit of time. I said, but I talked to this place. They said my daughter can come the first day. So she calls them and she talks to them and she's like, oh my gosh, no, they're too expensive. They want $800 a month. I was like, that's fine. I just need to put my daughter somewhere. She's like, no. I will have my friend will watch your daughter. She will only charge only $50 for the day. She was like, and then she was like, when you're done today with training, I will help you find another place. I said, okay, I have a list, so it's okay. So we did that. We found a place. They took my daughter the next day, which was great. So that was fine. Everything worked out. But I get there. So I'm there. My daughter goes with her friend, which was very nerve-wracking because, of course, I don't just let my daughter go with random people. But I didn't have really a choice at that point. So I go and start doing the training stuff. And so I'm supposed to be watching the teacher I'm replacing. So I'm watching T. And I started realizing there was something strange about this person, y'all. There was something really off. So I'm in the classroom and she starts speaking. And Tia is also Black, by the way. She's a sister. So I was like, okay, well, all right. We're probably going to get along well. And, I wonder why she's leaving. Maybe something happened. So she starts, and it's an elementary class. And I remember sitting in the class and she starts teaching and it goes, today class, Today, class, uh, we will start here. Um, do you have any questions? And I was just like, yo, what? And I said, oh, what page are you on? Because they gave me a book to like follow along with her. I said, well, what page are you on? Oh yeah, page. I said, what page are you on? Like I asked again, page? What page? And I'm just like, this not gonna work. You want me to trade from T like this? T is obviously going through something, and I cannot. I cannot. Y'all, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone or something because I was like, this is not normal. And the way she was looking, man, I can't even, the face, like she was gone, y'all. She was gone. She was not there. Okay. And so I asked the student next to me, I said, what page? What page are you on? I said, we are here. I said, okay. I said, teacher. So I got up and I started helping her. I said, teacher, they are here. So do this lesson. And she said, yeah, okay. And she starts and she writes like 2 words on the board. She goes, this is, I don't remember what word it was. Let's say it's apple. She's like, this is apple. Okay. This is pineapple. Okay. That was it. I was like, no, this is no bueno. Now, mind you guys, I already taught in Korea. I taught in a public school setting before this. So this is 2016. This is when this is happening. I taught in 2014 with a public school system. I also already had my master's degree in teaching at this time. So I'm just like sitting there and I'm just like, what else can I do to help this child? Like, dang, like she really going through something. She can't even function at all. And so I get up and, because I sat back down. So I got back up and I was like, okay, let me just help you. Is it okay if I help you? And she said, yes. So now the supervisor, the supervisor who's over us, she is watching from the door. The director is watching from the door. He is watching from the door. So he and she, they're both watching from the door. And so I just start practically teaching the class because what else am I going to do? I mean, these kids are here for a freaking lesson, and this is obviously not the first day because they didn't act like there was anything wrong. So I knew this has been going on for a while. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So I helped her, and then they pulled me out. They were like, okay, I think that was enough for you to see. And I was just like, yeah, that was a lot for me to see. There and then so the supervisor came, like she sat me down. She was like, as you probably noticed, there's something going on with T, and we this is why you were hired to replace her because she kind of just had a meltdown. I'm just like, yeah, there's definitely probably more going on. So, anyways, that's fine. I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I don't really need to know all that stuff. So I say, when am I moving into my apartment? They're like, oh, Tia's supposed to be leaving today. And I'm like, she's supposed to be leaving today. Why is she here working? They're like, she's supposed to be leaving today. So she gets her stuff out of the apartment. We'll take you there. And I'm like, okay, cool. Tell me why. Tell me why I ended up staying at the supervisor's house that night. T did not leave. So my daughter and I were going, no, we went back to the director's house for that night. So that was day 2. Well, not really day 2. That was day 1, night 2, back at the director's house, staying the night with the director again and his family. And I'm just like, okay, this is no bueno. And they were like, we're really sorry, blah, 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 blah. And I told them I was allergic to smoke. And they said the director smoked in the bathroom at their house. So when I went to go shower, like in bathe, my daughter and I, like it was filled with smoke. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like I felt so nauseous. Like I came out, I was just like, I don't feel well. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You say you're allergic to smoke. He smoked in there. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, okay. I was like, I need to get my apartment. Like, that's just all I need. Once I have the apartment, we'll be straight. Okay, cool, whatever, cool, yeah, cool. So next day, go to work, drop my daughter off at the daycare. It's going well. She cries every day for like 2 weeks, y'all. My poor baby. But everything's going well. She told me she liked it. She knows she can speak a little bit. She told me she liked it, but that it was a little scary. So I gotta understand she's a baby. So then that next day I go and they're like, okay, the other teachers. So we have a lot of foreign teachers. There's about 10 of us, no, 12 total. So I was number 12 coming in. And T is supposed to be out of here. So T was not there that day. T did show up though. T was not supposed to be there. T was supposed to be on a plane, y'all. T was supposed to be gone. So they asked the other teachers, they say, can you please go over to T's place, make sure everything is taken care of with T and that she gets her bags and leaves. She was supposed to leave yesterday. So they say, okay, blah, blah, blah. So they go to with T, they take her and say, hey, you're supposed to be leaving. Come on, blah, blah, blah. And, she's like freaking out. She's like, no, I can't leave. No, I can't leave. I have to see him. I have to see him. So they're like, what is going on? And like, she probably puts up a fight against these other two girls. And they're just like, okay. They told her, you have to leave today. You have to leave now. She needs to move into your apartment. She's like, okay. I have to see him. So there was something going on with some man at some eyeglass place in T. But no one knows what happened, if it was a traumatic experience or if she was just obsessed with him. But she did have an obsession problem. There is a famous actor, you guys may know him. He was in Goblin, Dokebi drama. His name is Gong Yu. He's one of my top faves as well. But there's a big poster of him outside of E-Mart. And so she wanted, when I first came, she wanted to connect with me. So she asked me for my Facebook. Fine, whatever. Facebook. I was in their teachers chat group, whatever. She added me on Facebook. So then she started messaging me about this dude, Gong Yu, and oh, did you see my boyfriend outside of E-Mart? I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, you have a boyfriend? That's great. I was like, I don't know what he looks like. She was like, no, he's on the poster, Gong Yu. And I was just like, wait, what? She was like, I'm going to have this baby. I'm pregnant by him, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what is going on? I was like, oh, okay, that's great news. I'm so happy for you. What am I supposed to say to that, y'all? What are you supposed to say to somebody who's delusional and obviously had a mental lapse, break, whatever? And, what are you supposed to say to that? I'm just like, okay, cool. Do you? Yeah, but there was obviously some sort of issue with her and the eyeglass place who was across from the E-Mart. So I don't know. That dude did look kind of like he was a K-pop-ish guy, whatever. He was attractive, but no Gong Yu, that's for sure. But yeah, they had something because she would go there. She kept going there, and actually, turns out the police were called, and the school had to stop her from going there because they were, your school is responsible for your visa. If you are an E2 teacher in Korea, your school is responsible for you. You have to tell them if you're going out of the country. If you're you shouldn't do, if you break the law or go to jail or, get in a fight, the school knows. The school will know because the police contact them. So that happened. And, she's supposed to be leaving. So they saw her with her luggage bags go, right? So she was supposed to be going to the bus stop, blah, 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 blah. That never happened. It never happened. She never left. But she did leave the apartment. She did leave the apartment. So she left the apartment, and she's from Canada. She left the apartment, and so the director was like, okay, she's gone. Let's go over to her place. And so we go over to her place, and y'all won't believe this mess. Oh, I was so hacked off because it's you said, she said she was gone, right? They said she was gone. She packed her bags. I get to her apartment. Tell me why all her clothes are there. All her clothes, all her stuff. everything, glasses, contact solution. I mean, clothes are still hung up, being dried, all the things. And I'm just like, I can't move in here. They're like, well, this is what we're going to do. So actually, this was still during the school day. This was still during the school day because I was still in training technically. So we had gone over there during the break time to like make sure she did get everything out. That they were just checking to make sure she did get everything out. So she didn't. So actually, they saw her take luggage bags, but there were luggage bags in there open and nothing in them. So they were like, we saw her with luggage bags this morning. Did she go back and like take them back? Were they empty? Like, what is going on? So they call her and they're like, hey, all your stuff is in the apartment. Where are you? She's like, oh, I'm seeing my boyfriend now, blah, blah, blah. I can't leave. I can't leave. So just crazy. They're like, we're getting all your stuff and we're packing them in boxes. They'll be outside the door. We're changing the door code so the new teacher can move in. That's what they told her. So then next thing was crazy because then the school got a call from her mom. So T's mom is calling. It's like, what'd you do to my daughter? Where is she? She's supposed to be home already. Her plane ticket was this day. Why you take my daughter? You stole my daughter. I will set the whole school on fire. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, what in the world is going on? So the supervisor sits down. She's like, hey, we got a problem. She did not get on the bus. She did not get on the plane. She is not home. We need to find her. You guys need to find her. And we're like, what? So she's telling us, like the other teachers, that we need to find this girl and get her out of the country. And we're like, that is not a responsibility, And it was really aimed at two of the other girls who had tried to be there for her, who were, I don't want to say more compassionate, but who knew her better and worked with her longer. So these two girls, very nice, very kind. I got close with them quickly because they were just very kind people. So they find T. T came back to the school and they were like, hey, you gotta get out of here. We're gonna go to your apartment. We're gonna help you, pack the stuff that you need in the luggage bags. Oh, no. Actually, we had put some clothes, like we put our clothes in the bag. They're like, we already packed for you. We already did this. Your glasses, everything is packed away. You just need to go. And so, okay. So they finally got her. The school was like, we're going to put you in a hotel tonight. In the morning, we're going to, the girls are going to help you go to put you on the bus to go to the airport, to Incheon. Okay, so y'all, let me tell you. So they get this hotel for T. Now the other two teachers decide, let's go ahead and stay with T because T is not in the right mind space. And we don't want to be responsible for someone taking their own life or something like that, because that's how serious it was. It was to that level to where you were unsure what this person was going to do. So they go to the hotel, and this is all secondhand information from those girls because they told us everything that happened. So they go and, Lord have mercy. I'm already at 23 minutes. It's all right. It's a good story. So they go to the hotel and they say, she starts really getting close to one of the other girls. I'm going to call her Anna. That's not her name, of course. But Anna, she gets really close to Anna and she starts really clinging to Anna and feeling very close to Anna. And so the other girl, Steffi, was like, hey, T's acting a little weird. She's really clinging to you. So maybe she feels more comfortable with you. I'm going to stay here, make sure everything's okay, just in case things get a little weird. Great thinking on Steffi's part because things get crazy. So they try to go to sleep, right? They're trying to go to sleep. They got to get up early, take her, make sure she gets there. This is a Friday night because it's going to be Saturday for them to send her away. Great. So they stay in the night, and then all of a sudden, T starts whispering. She's like, Anna. And she's like, yo, can you please stop that? Please don't do that. And she kept doing it. She's like, hey, that's not okay. Don't do that. That's very creepy. And so she started getting a little aggressive. She got so aggressive with her that she caused bruises on her arm. She grabbed her really hard, and Steffi had to like pull her off of her and was like, "Hey, we're not going to do that." Then the next thing was they try to go. They're like calmed her down, try to go back to sleep. She gets up, and they wake up. I think Steffi like woke up and like she just woke up at like bad feeling, woke up, and T is in the window. She is in the window, y'all, about to jump out this dang building. Like, what? They're like, no, hey, T, what's going on? They go over there to grab her, and she's just like, no, 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 no. So they're like, you know what? It's not going to work. So in the morning, they were like, oh, no, no, no. Was that early morning? Maybe it was early morning. So what ends up happening is T does not end up going home, because T has lost it. T is off her rocker. They cannot help T. T has hurt them. T had tried to jump out the building. They had to like drag her out. So they end up, I believe they said they ended up calling the police to help them because it got that serious. And they called the police and they were like, we need help, blah, blah, blah. This is what happened. And they said, okay, well, you need to take her to the hospital. So they took her to the hospital, and so they were actually able to find a psychiatric hospital, which is wild. And even, Korea's not really big on that kind of stuff. So they're able to find a psychiatric hospital to take her to, and that's what happened with T. So they took her there, whatever. We think everything's done. They were like, okay, that's handled. We told her mom, we messaged her, whatever. They messaged like a friend of hers that they found on Facebook, and the friend said that she's supposed to be on medication, but her mom often takes her off. And if she's off of it, this is what happens. So yeah, not good. So she was off her medication. I was like, I don't want to ever have to deal with that ever again in my life. So anyways, they take her, they leave her there with her luggage bags, leave her there. And they just leave her there for her mom to deal with. So her mom comes to Korea. Woo! You thought the story was over, didn't you? Her mom comes to Korea. And so it's very interesting because the school says, hey, we need you to go talk to her mom. And I'm like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, she wants to get in the apartment. And since it's yours now, you need to go talk to her. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? They're like, you don't have to let her in if you don't want to. You can just go look for yourself, but you need to go talk to her. And I'm just like, what kind of mess is that? Why would I, another teacher, go talk to this parent for a teacher that you that you did not properly take care of until the end, and you had these other teachers taking care of them? Like, I didn't understand that, but I was like, okay, you know what? Fine. She's a Black woman. Whatever. She'd probably feel more comfortable with me than anybody else. And I'm so glad I thought that, because I was so right. So I come out, they say, oh, she's outside of the school. She's outside, blah, blah, blah. So I go outside and I see Black woman walking towards me. It looked like she just came up from where the apartment was. She was like, who are you? And I said, I'm Ren. I'm the one, they said that I will be letting you into my apartment. She goes, oh, thank goodness. I thought it was some white girl stealing my daughter's stuff. So she was like, she's like, I don't like those white people. They're always taking my things and blah, blah, blah. I was like, wow, really? Really? No. She's like, I'm ready to burn down the school for what they did to my daughter. I'm going to kill everybody in there. And I'm just like, hold up, lady. I work there too. I work there too. I said, that wouldn't be the best for me because I need this job. I have a daughter. She's like, oh, I want to make sure you are safe. And I'm just like, wow, she's serious, y'all. So we go up to my place and we get in there. And she just starts like going through everything. She's like, where are they? Where are they? Where are my daughter's things? Oh, her book is not here. Blah, 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 blah. They took her stuff. I said, no, we packed everything we saw. And, we put them in boxes. Those are the boxes outside. And she was like, They always do this. They always try to hurt my daughter, blah, blah, blah. They never took care of her from the first day she came. She told me how horrible it was. I said, ma'am, you're probably right. But, I said, I don't really know anything. I just barely got here. And she said, oh, I'm so sorry, so sorry. And so then she goes and she's like, these are my daughter's books. Why are they here? I said, no, ma'am, those are my books. And she goes, these are my daughter's things. Why? I said, no, ma'am, that's my daughter's stuff. Like, my daughter is like a year and a half at this, like almost a year and a half, like a little bit over a year. And I'm like, dude, those are baby things. Like, that's not your daughter's stuff. So she was obviously off her rocker as well. And then she started doing this thing and she was like, like up in my apartment. I was like, are you okay? She's like, yes, I'm just praying, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, well, thank you so much for being so kind. And, you took care of T and blah, blah, blah. I was like, I didn't really know T because, as I said, I just got here. So is that all you need? She's like, somebody took her glasses. I'm going to sue the school because someone stole her glasses. They're very expensive. I'm like, now we go, another rant. So anyway, she goes off. She goes, we walk out, she was like, why couldn't I get into the apartment earlier? I said, because I changed the code. I said, it's my apartment now. Oh, okay, I understand. I was like, no, I'm not going to leave my apartment the same code and have no creepy woman walk up in my place or her crazy daughter. No, thank you. So we walk out and she is just like, I don't know why you would want to work for them, blah, blah, blah. They hurt my daughter. She was never like this. And she's like, I'm going to call her. So she calls her daughter and she's like, she said, hey, yeah, you need to say this. And then blah, 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 blah. She was doing that thing again. Blah, 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 blah. Amen. Blah, 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 blah. Say it. Blah, 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 blah. Amen. Blah, 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 blah. Amen. I was like, that don't sound like no prayer. So anyways, fast forward, all this, they finally leave the country. They go back to Canada, whatever. Fast forward, I finally decide to sweep underneath the bed. And there's this book, y'all. This book looks like some crazy Satanist book. I don't even know. I don't know what it was, but I was like, I don't want to touch this at all. This does not look like a normal book. I said, the pictures on it look so creepy, so evil, y'all. Like, you would not want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Like, it was bad. So I was just like, okay, I'm glad she's gone. I'm glad things are done, whatever. So after this, months later, we're still hearing different things coming that came up from this girl T. And yeah, it sucked because I had to pack that girl's apartment. I had to clean all that mess. It was so messy, y'all. It was so bad. Think about the worst kitchen you've ever seen and add clothes to that, clothes that were in the kitchen too. And we had to pack all of her stuff. Then thankfully the other teachers were helpful and two or three of them came and actually helped me do everything. And I had to clean it all, with my daughter there and everything. Oh, sorry, excuse me. And it was just really wild. And you think, and that's why I tell people now, it's so important. Mental health is so important, especially when you're going abroad. If you can't handle things, please just leave. Don't stay until it gets worse. Don't stay because you're worried about what the director thinks or supervisors or even your other co-teachers who are also foreigners. If you are mentally unstable, you cannot handle it, don't go through this. Don't be that person, please. And then my other thing is, please always clean. Even if you're man, I'm just going to do a midnight run. I'm going to leave tonight. Please clean your place first, because the next person or even the teachers that you work with will have to come behind you and clean up after you, which I don't think is fair. That's not fair to, the rest of us. That's not fair. That's not fair to them. You're already leaving, putting them in a tough spot. And a lot of times when teachers leave like that, or when companies have to, kind of fire a teacher, or if a teacher does a midnight run, it really messes up the other teachers because they have to cover other classes that you don't know how to teach yet, or they have to They have to wait for another replacement teacher if it became so bad. So they were waiting for another replacement teacher because it was bad with T. And I also heard that sometimes she didn't even come. She would be late to work or whatever. So she had many freak out sessions. They said she would randomly scream. Sometimes she would go and start talking to the walls. I did see that while I was there. She just stopped and started talking like to herself. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I can see why they hired me. And then that's when later, after she was gone, they told me, "Oh, we're so glad you're here. You're actually when we interviewed you the first time. This is what I was hearing it when we interviewed you the first time. The director wasn't sure because you're a single mom, so we hired her, and now we regret it, and we wish we would have hired you at first." So she was like, "Next time, if it's another single mom or just a parent who wants to work here, I'm not gonna think differently. I'll just hire them if their qualifications are good." I was like, that's what you should be doing anyway. But anyways, guys, that's it for my Hagwon horror story. Of course, there's more to the story, and the part at the hotel was probably way worse than what I made it sound. Only those two girls who were there could actually, say it as good as they did, as well as they did, and make you feel the intensity that it was. But I will tell you, that was no walk in the park for them, because the next day both of them were bruised up from them grabbing her grabbing them. I think one got their hair pulled. Like it was a scary, expensive experience for them. Imagine like a horror movie, like a horror movie with like one of those ghosts or witches or whatever, and they come after you and then they pull your hair and like drag you across the floor, but you can't see them. It was kind of like that kind of creepy type of thing that happened to them. Yeah, I've been very grateful in that I have not had to go through another situation like that. Sadly, I did suffer a lot. My throat suffered a lot from the mold that was in that apartment, that was not really seen because of the mess that was there. And then I moved in, I cleaned. I didn't move the bed though. And then later, when I moved the bed, I saw just how bad the mold was, and like completely black mold. The bathroom had black mold, like all in the sink, and the kitchen had mold throughout, like under the cabinets. And then mold started seeping through my wardrobe, and I'm just like, mm-mm. And they didn't want to do anything about it, and that is why I left that school. But yes, anyways, guys, I hope you never, 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 never have to go through anything like that, suffer through that, or have to experience someone else who is going through that. So please, if you come to Korea, take care of your mental health. Be proactive in that. If you start feeling depressed or you start feeling like you can't handle it, talk to someone. There's actually a lot of free counseling services here in Korea. Get connected with the different Korean groups, Facebook group, Expat Women's in Korea, every expat in Korea, Black women in Korea, brothers and sisters in Korea, expat single moms, SOCO, expat parents Korea. There's so many groups that are out here for you, that can keep you connected to people, and you can find other people to hang out with. There's groups specifically for your town. So like us here in Wonju, we have Wonju Life. Jeonju was, I think it's just Jeonju something. What the heck is Whipple My Pet? What is that? Hello, Caleb DG, KDG. But yeah, it's definitely possible for people to have mental breaks. I've seen a lot of posts like that where people have said, they just can't take it anymore. What should they do? And people suggest just leave, just go, just like don't just think it's nothing. Just really take it seriously and do what's best for you. That's always the best. It's always the best to do what's best for yourself, because no one else can really tell you how bad it is. They can't tell you how badly it is. Only you know. Only you really truly know. And when I did EPIC, when I was out teaching with the public school way out in the boonies of Samchuk, Like I really was down a lot. I would go to Seoul every weekend just so that I could like function through the next week. And I'll probably talk about that in the future. In the future, when I'm done with this current job. But, anyways, guys, as I said, please keep up with your mental health. Be proactive in that and find those groups, find those connections. Lots of groups for you. Soul, like people in Soul, Soul expats. There's so many groups. There's volleyball clubs, CrossFit clubs, running clubs. Like there's a lot you can get involved in so that you have connections and that you don't feel alone or isolated. Even in small towns, there's usually groups, and a lot of people do board game groups in the smaller towns. So, even if you're not good at board games, it's at least good to go and mingle, right? So, anyways, guys, that is 40 minutes too long, and I am out of here because my throat hurts, and I have to go clean myself because I'm still packing my apartment because I'm moving. Yay! Moving to Seoul. Let's go. Woo! Let's go. But anyways, until next time, annyeong. Bye bye bye. Bye bye.